to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit, a show dedicated to helping you find enrichment for the other 23 hours of your day outside of the gym. Here's your hosts, Jason, Dave, and Corian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Hello, hello.
I am Coach Jason.
I'm Coach Dave.
Coach Corian.
And we are anchored at Harbor Park. I got a little sniffles today.
You know, I do too.
I just realized that. A little sniffles going on.
Drop in the temperature.
All
Or
right.
are you sad about the Packers firing your coach?
No, well, I always liked McCarthy, but clearly he had lost the team, so needed change. So
Sometimes change
not
is
upset
good.
about it. Today we are talking about New Year's resolutions. We got a couple weeks until New Year's. When this airs, it'll be about a week closer. So perfect time to talk about this. Everyone knows New Year's resolutions is a big thing at this time of the year, for a good reason. It gets people thinking about change and improvement and betterment. So our icebreaker today is going to be your most memorable, either positive or negative, New Year's resolution, if it worked or went terribly wrong.
That's a good question.
Mine was to get out of my past career, and I did. And
There
it
you
worked
go.
out.
I'm not going to lie, the worst New Year's resolutioner.
Usually I don't make them.
I don't make them. I don't write them down, like, because I'm always talking about goals and, like, I'm always doing stuff. I'm more of, like, a springtime renewal. So, like, come spring, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm doing all these different things, and then I go after them. Maybe it's because I subconsciously hate winter, and then, like, I just, like, shut down in winter. I'm just trying to make it through. So maybe that'll be my resolution, is to make a resolution.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I've never really stuck to any. So maybe we're not the group to really talk about this, but I think also we've just kind of gotten used to being really good at when we decide we want to do something, we implement it right away and don't necessarily need to wait till the first.
Yeah, I'm a do it right now sort of
Yeah,
gal. So I will talk about best New Year's stuff we used to do. Is my family used to get together on New Year's Eve. We just wear pajamas. Me, my mom, my aunt would have like matching pajamas we'd go get. And everybody brings their own food, like usually like steak and crab legs and sides, and then we just hang out and play games. Most of the time we didn't even make it to midnight, but that's okay.
I prefer the pajamas over the going out part.
Oh God, yeah.
That's just me.
Well, I've done it one time. It was when your brother was in town,
Yep.
Corian, and
Well, went out for New Year's?
yeah.
He was freshly divorced and on the prowl, and it was terrible.
And it was just, I'm like, this isn't fun. Why do people do this? It wasn't even anything. I was like, done. I'm like, let's go. This is stupid.
I have had fun before, but yeah, I just got to the point where one year I got a whole tray of champagne spilled on me, and I didn't even want to be out in the first place.
I think I remember that. You were in Milwaukee, weren't you?
No,
Oh.
we're just in town here.
Because I know one
The year
you
after
went-
that, I went up to Milwaukee, but I didn't drink at all.
Yeah.
I just went out, and it was okay, but everyone else was very drunk, so
This past year, I think all of us said we were in bed by 9 and all of us stayed home.
yeah. Because I think it was like, I mean, we don't really get holidays. We still work. Like, we still have to do our things. So even though it's New Year's, we still have a lot to do that day.
And I'm all for the brunch dates over the drinks. Like, if we want to go spend time going to a nice brunch, breakfast, I'm up for that. So,
I'm also down for that.
all right.
Jason has some news, right? You're an uncle.
Oh, yeah. I just
Yay.
became a first-time uncle on Thursday, a couple days ago. So that's cool. I mean, still just a little baby, not really doing much. Maybe I can share more exciting things in a couple months.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So those that are doing New Year's resolutions, we have some ideas. Or these are for any time you're trying to set a goal, but because of the time of year it is, we figured we'd make it specific to New Year's.
And this could be, even maybe if people who are not gym members hear this, they can help them do a little bit better than they have in previous years when setting resolutions. So first thing we'll talk about is just kind of picking your resolution, how to pick better ones or smarter ones that you're more likely to stick to. So the first thing is just why. So like, why are you setting this resolution, whatever it is? Do you truly want it, or are you just doing it because it's New Year's again? And that's a thing you've done is, well, it's New Year's, so I have to set a resolution.
Right. So I want to start this year off right.
Right. So that's kind of superficial versus being like, okay, like my health has gotten really out of hand and I need to turn it around so I can play with my kids or whatever the heck the reason is.
I find, and I don't really like New Year's resolutions, to be honest, because I find that people set such far goals to reach for themselves, and then, they fall off February, March because that goal maybe is a little bit too far-fetched, and then they're not seeing results, or they're just not, it was set way too high.
Right, if you think about it, so probably a lot of people don't really have goals set, so they don't really understand what it takes to achieve it, and then they just pull something out of nowhere, and then they realize maybe it's way harder than they thought or whatever. Yeah, that's a good point.
Or they pick goals, I will say, like a lot of people when I talk to them with their goal sessions and everything, they pick goals that are outside of their control. So setting a weight loss goal or money-making goal, stuff like that, like totally understandable, and it's a good idea to have where you want to go, but you really can't control a lot of those outside influences, but you can control your habits and you can control your routines and your mindset. So maybe adjusting the style of resolution would give you a better outcome.
So we always kind of talk about process-oriented goals versus outcome. Like you mentioned, a lot of outcomes aren't really, if your goal is to get promoted and someone else, like you could try your best, but maybe someone else is just better and they get the promotion and you don't, like you did your best, you can't be upset, but you can't control that. Versus, maybe it's every single day I'm going to read and learn about my job. Then you're more likely to be the one who wins because you're improving yourself.
Or if it's a weight loss goal, not just saying, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year. That's a pretty lofty goal. And, if you're not seeing the scale move because you're lifting weights, sometimes that can be discouraging. So, okay, maybe break that down of like, how are you going to... So, that's your goal, ultimate goal, but if you break it down into smaller goals, like how are you going to do that? Okay, I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week. So there's a win if you hit your gym 3 days a week. I'm going to make sure that all 3 of those days, I'm going to do 1 hour worth of cardio or, high intensity workouts, stuff like that.
So that would be the process oriented is instead of making your resolution to lose a certain amount of weight, your resolution is to go to the gym a certain amount of times per week.
Right.
I was re-listening for like the 4th time. My Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass. Felt like I needed it today. And the part that I was at was talking about that. And it was like, when you are doing weight loss or you're trying to expand your business or get promoted, it's not about the outcome. It's about who you become during that process. So again, when we start changing how we're looking at a goal, like, what do you think losing 50 pounds is going to do for you? Like, mentally, physically, socially, like be honest. Like, I love when people walk in my goal session, I'm like, why do you want to lose weight? Because that's what they put down. They're like, because I want to feel fucking sexy. And I'm like, yeah. Like, at least you're honest about it and you know how you're going to feel when you get there. But if you don't have this intrinsic thought about what your life is going to be when that change happens, you're never going to be happy when you reach that goal either. And it's still going to feel very empty and very meaningless.
Yeah, and I like what Carl Paley said a couple of weeks ago when he said that, like your goal is to get a muscle up, and then you don't get that muscle up, and then you're really disappointed. But he was like, but celebrate where you're at, too.
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe you didn't lose that 50 pounds you set for yourself. Don't get discouraged. You lost 20 pounds. Or, now you fit into this dress or these pant size. Like, celebrate those little small victories and, like, celebrate it. And that makes you more apt to not fall off of those major goals.
I like that. And then what else he said was, Maybe it doesn't look like you thought it was going to look. Like Gina got her muscle up. It was assisted and it was with other people's help, but she got a muscle up. So again, when we lose weight or maybe we get promoted to a position that's different than the one that we intended, or something happens and you're training for a marathon and then you get hurt, so then you start training for swimming because that doesn't hurt your plantar fasciitis or something like. So again, you're exercising, but it doesn't look the way you thought it was going to look. So be open to these other things that are out there instead of being so hyper-focused on this one thing.
I think we might have transitioned, so let's pull the reins back a little bit. Another thing when it comes to setting goals is adding versus removing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, like when you look at Lent, if you're religious, you have to typically stop doing something for 40 days. That can be hard. Like if you're used to something, like I'm not going to put sugar in my coffee for 40, like that's hard.
Because what are you going to do? Immediately you're going to think about, like, oh my God,
right.
Sugar.
And usually what happens, or what you can do to have more success is add something. If you have like a ton of soda and you want to get rid of or stop drinking soda, if you add, like, I'm going to drink three glasses of water a day, that will possibly help you not drink the soda because you won't be as thirsty.
That is actually my goal right now. I realize I don't drink enough water, and so I'm going to. One of the other things I learned from my life coach a couple months ago was our minds have a very difficult time thinking in negative and wrapping our day and habits around a negative thought. So when we say I can't have something or I'm not going to do something anymore, it's hard for us to commit to that because we don't like negatives. So just switching it so it's a positive affirmation or a positive outlook is something that you can get behind a lot more mentally than you can when you put a negative connotation on it.
Yeah. So like in that example, say like your ultimate goal is to lose 50 pounds. Like one way, maybe you're thinking like, okay, I'm not going to eat any more fast food this year. I'm going to eliminate it. You would probably have more success if we went back and what we talked about before is said, okay, I'm going to add in going to the gym every day and not worrying about taking away that fast food. I mean, that's something we'd work towards, obviously.
Or simply,
year, but
one of my favorites is I'm going to eat vegetables at every meal.
Yeah.
Because you can't get a lot of veggies at fast food. But that means that even if you do go to a fast food, maybe you're more likely to get a salad or grilled chicken and some veggies or you're making a better choice and in a stride in a better direction.
Right.
So then it's still a win.
Yep, and you're still doing, instead of trying to eliminate, you're adding something in, which is easier.
Absolutely. I had one other thing about, telling yourself like you are something too is like a lot different. And Ben Bergeron talks about this. Jen Sincero talked about it in her book today. Like when I was quitting smoking, one day I just realized I didn't tell people that I'm a smoker, but I haven't smoked in so long. Like I'm not a smoker. That's not who I am. I am a health coach and I am a gym owner and I'm a box owner. So when we identify ourselves as like, I'm fat or I'm lazy or I'm exhausted, like you are going to fulfill those things. So when you tell yourself, I'm a runner and I'm dedicated to getting up in the morning, going to the gym to run or those things. Again, you're just putting those positive spins on things, and that's something that internally and subconsciously your body can get behind. So,
yeah, that's like almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So, had a client I was just dealing with over the weekend having a hard time getting in, and was saying, "Well, I'm going to try to make it to the gym 2 to 3 times this week. But work is really busy. I don't know how late I'm going to be, kind of making all the excuses ahead of time. I finally said, I'm done making excuses for you. You're not allowed to make excuses. You're going to plan it out now, and I don't care how long your days are, but you're going to make it in. And the reason I'm telling you this is because if you plan it and you just say you're going to do it, you're going to do it. You're making all the excuses. When it comes, you're just going to be like, it was a busy day. I knew it was going to be busy. And then it's easy to just fall off and not do it.
Yeah. Again, shameless plug for my life coach, but Grant Cavalier if anybody is looking for a life coach, has some super awesome knowledge bombs. But he told me when you make a statement like, I'm trying, or I tried, you are already giving yourself an out. Yes. Because it's not, you're like, I tried to eat healthy, I tried to get to the gym, but you're making it okay when you don't. But if you're saying, like you said, I'm going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, even if it's for 15 minutes, I'm going. There's no out there. You're going. And then I usually tell people what happens is when you get to the gym for 15 minutes and you just start moving, like you'll get more motivated. And then all of a sudden it's been an hour. And that might have been on the rower or that might have been stretching, but hell, you did something. Way to go.
And then you're going to feel better when you're done.
Yep. And then we start forming those habits. And
yep. All right. So now we're going to transition. So we picked a resolution, a smart one that you are more likely to stick to because you care about it. It is oriented towards something that you can control and not something that you can't control. So how do we stick to it? We know as gym owners, a lot of people make resolutions, especially in the fitness area, and after 3-4 weeks, pretty much all done. So how can we stick to them better? And it is the hard part. Obviously, it's easy to make the resolution. It's hard to stick to it. Corian brought up a quote, I guess it was a quote before, of inspiration versus dedication. So inspiration is, when you're excited about something and you have that idea and you're motivated, that's inspiration, but does not last long. So then you need to be dedicated to it if you want it to work.
I think I just remember exactly what it was. Inspiration is what gets you started. Dedications is what keeps you going. Yep. There it is. I remember. So
what does that mean?
Well, I think the hardest part is you get excited about something and you're going to go. Excitement gets you so far, and then you kind of lose a little bit because maybe life happens and you lose you lose that excitement a little bit. So now other things start setting in. And I find that the biggest thing is just falling into bad habits or old habits. Old habits are hard to break. Mm-hmm. So when you have a habit of, okay, I'm going to get home, and as soon as I get home from work, I'm going to get changed and go to the gym, and then I'll head back out. How about we break that habit because it's easy to sit down on the couch and then turn the TV on or flip through Facebook or Instagram and then get sucked in. And now it's, I missed the class, but how about we bring our gym bag with us? It's in your car, just go straight from work or before work, and you're breaking those habits because it's like soda. If you have a soda every night with dinner, your brain is so used to that it craves it and it wants it,
and when you study habits, you'll learn that it's actually there are triggers. There's something that you do that triggers that habit. So, like you said, you could get home from work and truly have all the right intentions to go to the gym, but there's that one thing, maybe it's sitting on the couch, or maybe it's when you turn on the TV or whatever, that one trigger that makes you fall back in that old pattern.
Mm-hmm. That's like if you ever go out with friends who never smoke, but they'll drink, or they drink, and then all of a sudden, I got to have that cigarette. Yeah. Well, I only smoke when I'm drinking. Well, yeah, it's a trigger for you.
Yeah. So this tells me about something else. Sorry. When we have these habits, so what is that outcome that that habit gives you? What is the feeling behind it? When it's a good feeling, when it's a feeling of happiness and joy and fulfillment, pride, all of those things, what we have to look at sometimes is how we get there. So like you said, just changing and putting your gym bag in your car so that it's ready to go. So how can we get that same feeling but change the route to get there? And I think I tell this with people who are like, I need to go to the gym, but they don't enjoy it. Guys, it's okay to understand that you need to be healthy and you might not like going to the fucking gym. It's cool. But how can you be healthy and get that fulfillment and that pride and lose that weight in a way that is enjoyable and exciting for you? Hell, if that is yoga, Pilates, going for a run, joining a marathon team, just walking for several minutes a day, or whatever it is, you have to find that thing that's going to get you there. Yes, some days are going to be harder than others still when it's something you enjoy, but if it's something that you don't even enjoy to start with, you're probably going to be less likely to stick to it.
Mm-hmm. back to habits, remove those triggers, try to identify them, remove them.
And a good book to listen to or read is The Power of Habit. Excellent book.
I think that's on the agenda for the big book club.
No, they're doing the Mozart.
I know
Starter.
they're doing a different one right now, but it's one that we talk about a lot.
Yeah,
in
I
Wanting.
love The Power of Habit. Great book.
Yeah.
So then the next thing about sticking to your resolution would be embracing this resolution as part of your new life. So we're not into doing anything that's just short-term or temporary. Like if you're going to do a New Year's resolution, it should be something that you're going to stick with.
It's a lifestyle, guys.
Right.
Lifestyle.
Right.
That's why I hate the term diet.
That's why I hate New Year's resolution, because it's the same thing. A New Year's resolution, I think, is everybody's idea that it's short term. I'm going to do it for a little bit, and then I'm going to be done. And I think that that has the same connotation as the word diet. So what can we maybe relabel that moment in the year to be something else that doesn't have that short term?
About year setting.
Year planning.
Yeah, year planning, having a great year. But yes, you're right, Jason. You want to not short-term, long-term results. So, not sit there saying and giving yourself that end date. Well, I'm going to go to the gym for 6 weeks, or I'm not going to eat fast food for 6 weeks. We already talked about why we don't want to say that. But these short-term little goals, like, okay, yeah, you did it, yay. Now what are you going to do for the rest of the year?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also like when things are a little bit broader when it's part of your life. So there's a fine line between having a goal that's too broad and then there's a goal that's too specific. Because when it's super specific and you don't achieve that even in the short term, then you're like, oh, well, I failed and it's done and over with and I can't try again. But if it's something like, being healthy or, like if your habit is to go to the gym 3 times a week and it's Friday and you've only gone once, well, now you have 2 more days. So it's still, there's an opportunity there. But if you're like, I'm going to the gym every single day and you overslept one day and you're not able to go or you're sick, people will be like, oh, well, it's over because I already didn't do it. So.
I think a lot of people fall off because of that type of thing. I'm going to go 3 times a week, and then they didn't go, and it's Friday, and they're like, ugh, didn't do it. And then it, again, becomes super easy next week to make another excuse. But, I don't know. I get frustrated with it.
I think, too, people need to make it to be a part of their life. It has to go along with the values we talked about last week. What do you value? If you're like, I need to go to the gym and I need to get healthy, but you value your job and being promoted, and that means staying late, coming in early, working weekends, going to special events and stuff like that, that's going to impede your opportunity to be healthy. So how can you mold your goal setting for the new year to be around your values as well? Again, we have to be honest with who we are, what we want, and what's important to us. And then those
I think
those
you
goals will
mentioned
be
it
easy.
earlier. You said, when you said, why do you want this? Okay, for me specifically, why do I want to stay healthy and eat healthy and go to and work out daily? Why do I want to do it? It's not because I want to lose a bunch of weight. It's not because of anything other than the fact that I don't want to die young. I want to enjoy my life, and I don't want to be in a nursing home when I'm older. Plain and simple.
You want to hang out with me forever.
Just Frenchies.
We'll quiet that.
Just
For those of
Frenchies.
you that couldn't see Dave's face, his eyes just got 3 times the size of what they were.
Only if we can have 3 Frenchies, then we'll be fine.
Okay.
But no, so conversely, you might have to sit down and take a deep look at yourself, and you might have to realign your values if you want to get in shape and get healthy, and that's currently not one of your values. Maybe going out and partying is a value, even though you might not say it. If that's what you're doing, then that's what's important to you. That's your value. Maybe you need to reevaluate what your priorities are.
Yeah. I think for me, one of mine right now, obviously I've done pretty well with my food, do pretty well with my training. That's been valuable to me for the last couple of years, but now it's been years. It's set. It's a habit. I didn't feel like working out today, but I did it and I feel fabulous. Thank you, Dave, for telling me that it needs to get done. But for me, my value is my businesses. And so right now I'm realigning, what does that mean to me? What do I need to do to make sure that they're important? Working more hours. Dave and I talked about dedicating, I was doing really well when I dedicated an hour a day and all of these things. So if that means because of other things going on, I'm coaching more, I have to come home and I have to go sit in the office for an hour. Like, it is what it is. And like, we already don't have cable, and like, maybe the house won't get fucking clean, or, you know, decorations won't go up, or, you know, whatever it is. But right now, like, that's important to me. It's my value, and I'm going to make it work. I'm not waiting till the New Year's either, by the way, guys. This is starting today.
It's fine. That's good. You don't have to wait for New Year's. Sometimes waiting for a day.
This also gave me another idea. Share your goal with others. Because now you two are going to hold me accountable, especially Dave. If he comes home and he's like, hey, did you spend your hour? Or he sees me in the office, he knows he's not going to bug me. He knows, like, that's my hour and I have to get it done. And if I'm not in there, he'll probably ask me why or if I did it. So I need your guys' help. Make that something that I stick to and I own.
Yeah, so having a workout buddy or a liability partner. Accountability partner. That's not, we're not looking for liabilities here. Accountability partner is huge to help you with that. Making sure you're sticking to your goals.
And if someone's going to sit here and try and tell you that it's not important, or jokingly entice you, oh, it's just one bite, it's just one cheat meal, it's just one day you're not going, fuck that person and get them out of your life. I'm sorry, but that is straight up the truth. If they are not going to be encouraging, you do not need that negativity in your life. Plain and simple.
To be honest, people do that to make themselves feel better.
Yep, because they don't have the courage and the strength to change and do things that they want to do. So we've talked about this in past podcasts, like the negativity and the negative influences. You need to surround yourself. And it doesn't mean forever. It just means, like, right now, while you're forming your new life, you need people who are going to help you and be by your side, not try and make you feel bad.
I agree. Jason, I have a question for you. So, like, yes. What about people who, like, because obviously I think this is why people make New Year's resolutions, because we're getting close to the end of the year, and what, of course, is before New Year's, we have Thanksgiving, we have all the holiday parties, and everybody starts to just, because they let their diets go, you know, and we see it in the gym, like, oh, I'm just going to eat like crap, or I know I'm eating like crap over the holidays, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to wait, and the New Year's, it's going to change. Like, what do you tell those people, like, how to handle that situation? Instead of just letting everything go, getting in forming those bad habits.
Well, I'll just say, like, we kind of talked about this last week too, is not assuming like it's all or nothing. Like, you can still enjoy yourself, but then maybe like on Monday you get back strict on your routine or whatever it is. Yeah, you might have some bad weekends, but that's okay. That's like, I didn't have a great weekend this weekend, but Monday comes and I'm right back on it. So doing like damage prevention, you know, might not be perfect, but I'm certainly not going off the rails. So then otherwise, if you're going to wait a whole month until January 1st, you're already starting so far in a hole that, yeah, when, you know, you're going to be a month or two in and you're going to be just back to where you were before New Year's, before December started, like, and now you're discouraged because you should be so much farther ahead.
Also, too, like, I think when you're in the mode to start something, anything, you have to just start it. Like, why am I waiting till January 1st? Like, who knows how I'm going to feel or what's going to be on my mind or what life is going to throw at me, because life is going to throw some shit at you and try to pull you back. So when you're in the moment, like, guys, like, just do it now. Like, set those goals and start working to them, no matter what it is. And I think, like I said, get that ball rolling in a good direction.
Inspiration is hard to come by, and if you have it and if you wait, like, even, yeah, I mean, it's going to fade pretty quick, regardless if you start or not. So when you get it, take advantage of it. Yeah,
most people think, like, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Oh, I stepped back. Look at it as you're still 1 step ahead of where you were. Like, again, just change how you look at things.
One of my favorite things to tell clients when I have a goal session is after they write their 3 goals, we talk about them, and then I give them back their sheet and I tell them to pin it up somewhere that they see it every morning. So whether it's on their bathroom mirror or on their fridge, like, it has to go somewhere that you see it daily. So that way that's the first, and I want it to be one of the first things they see. So I say, when you wake up and you're not feeling it, you're going to look at that sheet, and I want you to sit there and say, that's the reason why I'm going to do X, Y, Z today, because that is what I wrote down, that's my goal, and I want to hit that goal. So that's usually what I tell people.
Do you know what else is really cool that happened today? I finished my 6 months of my 5-minute journal. Yeah, right? Isn't that weird? 6 months already. I feel like this 6 months has been just a blink. But I got my new one, because it reminds you to order it. So I got my new one. I was all ready. I was like, I'm not waiting. Like, there's no way I'm not journaling every day. Thank you, Jason. And so then I was filling out the beginning of it, like, what is the biggest thing that you're dealing with right now? And then it talks about, like, what are your challenges for writing in this journal? And, like, I don't have challenges because I've made it such a habit in these last 6 months. Like, my only thing is, like, maybe, like, sometimes I oversleep, but I still am pretty good about grabbing that journal and at least doing my 5 minutes. But I looked back at what I wrote at the beginning of the first one, and it talks about drinking too much and then forgetting to write in the journal. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't drink like that anymore. And that wasn't even like a goal. Like, that wasn't even anything like on my radar. Like, obviously getting healthy and everything else was. So again, not thinking about what I was losing, I focused on all the other things I was gaining. And I'm like, holy shit. Dave and I used to buy like a bottle or two of wine a day and several times a week. And now we're lucky if we go through 2 bottles in the weekend, or something like that. And I'm just like, man, it's so different. 6 months, not even a year, 6 months.
Powerful people. You should journal.
Yeah.
Change your life.
All right. We have anything else? Closing statements on New Year's resolutions?
I don't think so. I think that did it. Maybe we'll advertise this to potential new people too. Good way to.
Yeah.
We're always advertising. Yeah. If you guys didn't know, we're on Spotify.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
That's a new thing.
Learning technology.
You guys can share it with your friends. Let them know we're on Spotify. I know we have a couple followers throughout the United States, so share with your friends. We hope you are learning.
And then, as always, I don't think we've asked you guys this in a while. If there is anything you want to know about, hear about, or, listen to us talk about for, half an hour, 45 minutes, go ahead and write it in. And we love hearing your suggestions and what's important to you and what it is that you guys maybe are struggling with, or maybe some of your accomplishments that you want to chat about.
Yep. All right. Stay classy, non-Harbor Park land and Harbor Park.
Yay. Happy holidays.
Adios, peeps.
Thanks for listening to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit. If you would like further information about our programs, visit www.harborparkcrossfit.com. We hope you'll tune in next time.